Hello class, welcome to week one. This tutorial is a guide to assist you in beginning your week one assignment using Visual Studio's 2019 community version. All right. Before you begin on your week one assignment, you will need to install Visual Studio's 2019 community. Now, I would suggest that you use Visual Studios to build your projects if you are a computer science major. If you're not a computer science major, you have the option of using the online compiler. The location of this compiler is a web address. It's www.onlinegdb.com. And if you use the compiler, you simply just type your code, select run, and it will execute your code. For computer science majors, you will need to install Visual Studio's 2019 community version. Um, Installing this now for this class will allow you to run your projects for this course, and then you will be familiar with the application for your future programming courses. All right, so there's two places that you can install the application. You can select the Install Visual Studios 2019, or you can select Visual Studio Download below the weekly content link within Blackboard. Once you click either of these links, they will both take you to the same URL. There will be a community free download option. Just select this option, select your operating systems and your system requirements, and follow the prompts to install Visual Studios. If you're having trouble or if you need guidance on installing Visual Studios, under the weekly content week one, there is a video labeled Installing Microsoft Visual Studios, and this will provide some additional details for installing Visual Studios. All right, after installing Visual Studios, now it's time to begin testing your sample code and then writing your week one assignment code. All right, to launch the application, select search and type Visual Studios. Visual Studios 2019 app. Now you may get the option to sign in to Visual Studios. You can ignore this option or you can sign in using an Outlook email address and password. Create a new project. For all of your assignments, you will select the empty project option. Now, an easy way to filter through your project selection options is to select the programming language and your platform. I am using a Windows platform. You may be using a different platform, so you select your platform based on the operating systems that you are using. Select empty project, next, and then type the name of your project. So I am going to call this week one. Select the location for your project, browse. So I would suggest creating a folder for all of your assignments for this class. You can name your folder CS265 assignments. This will allow you to have your assignments saved in a location where you can reference it in the future. Check the checkbox that says, please place solution and project in the same directory and select create. Now, it may take a minute or two for your project to be created. It depends on your system. Once created, right-click on Source Files and select Add, New Item. Select Visual C++, C++ file.cpp. By default, there's a name that says source.cpp. You can replace this name with main, or you can leave the name. You can name it week one assignment. The name of the file is up to you. Okay? Traditionally, when you are creating a file and all of your code will be stored in that one file, you would name it main.cpp. Click Add, and you will notice that main.cpp file is created. Next, I suggest you copy the code for the sample posted in the week one assignment and paste it into the week one main.cpp. Select Build to test your code to ensure that there are no errors in your program. When you select Build Solution, you will have one of three options. Succeeded means that there were no errors in your code. 0 for failed means that there were no fails, and 0 means that there were no updates. If there is a 1 next to failed, that means that there was an error in your code. If there's a 1 next to up to date, that means that you have built your code in the past and you are rebuilding it, which essentially means that you've made changes to your code and it's been updated. Okay, so our code has 0 errors because we see that that 1 is placed next to the word succeeded. Now we want to test our code to see what the output is. We want to see if the first number and the second number actually are displayed and if the value is calculated correctly. So to do that, select Debug, Start Without Debugging, and we see our solution, our output displayed. The first number is 85, the second number is 15, and the sum is 100. So this is what it should display based on the code that we've written for our project. So you can X out of the console. I also want to show you the option of debugging with the Start Debugging option. We use this option when we want to test our code. So let's see that we have errors. Let's say that we have errors in our code, or we want to ensure that each line of code is functioning the way that it should function. This would be a great idea to debug your program. So to start the debugger, first you need to insert a breakpoint. And the breakpoint is essentially the point in your program where the compiler will stop so that you can check each line in your code. Okay, so I am going to insert a breakpoint in line 7, and then I'm going to select Debug, Start Debugging. Okay, so if I open my console, notice that there's nothing on it because we have not done anything that displays any information to the console. And notice that for line 5 and 6, if I put my mouse over num1, I will see the value 85. And if I put the cursor over num2, I'll see the value 15. If I put the cursor over sum, I get a really large number because the value of sum has not been calculated as yet since we have not reached the end of line 7. However, num1 and num2 have been calculated. So to go to the next line, select the step into or click F11 on your keyboard. And now we notice that sum has changed to 100. Also, if you look in the output, you will see the values of each of your variables. You will see that num1 is equal to 85, num2 is equal to 15, and sum is equal to 100. So this is a good way to double check your code to ensure that your variables are storing the correct values and to see if there are errors in your code, to see which level or which step or line in your code the errors are occurring. If I go to the next line by clicking F11 or stepping into, it should have printed the first number is 85. And if I open up my command prompt, I see that this line has been displayed. If I go to the next step, it should print the second number is 15. And if you put your mouse over any of these values, it will show you the values that is stored in these variables. Notice if I open my console, it says the second number is 15. And then the final line, the sum is 100, is displayed on your console. All right, click continue to finish out the rest of your program, and you will see that it has successfully executed and it exited with code 0. That means that there were no errors and your project was successfully executed. Okay, so this is a good tool for testing errors in your program. A lot of times students will email me and they are unsure of where they're having a problem in their code. If you insert breakpoints, just click on this gray portion within your code. This will allow you to debug your program and to actually see what is happening in each line of your project. Okay, I will go over these steps during the live session tomorrow evening for those of you who want to test this out. And if you run into any problems and you have questions, then you can join the live session. It will be from 5:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. Central Standard Time. Again, have a good week, and I will see you tomorrow.